Hi there. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We finished Case 3 last time, and it left on a not exactly conclusive note in terms of how it ended. Well, the ending was like, the ending was up in flames, but, you know, the actual trial was quite curious. But now it's time for Episode 4. The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro. Let's see how it goes. How it goes, you know what I mean? Let's see, Episode 4, The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro.
I begin to think, Wilson, said Sholmes, turning his head languidly in my direction, that there is more to this case than that which we have observed. Indeed, that there may be another part to this story that we are yet to discover.
Are you talking about the last case? Or...
His eyes wandered, following the steam rising from his cup of herbal tea, leading him to the distant memory of that snowy evening. To the young lady collapsed on the pavement along Briar Road, and to the knife in her back.
Oh, that sounds unpleasant.
Lit in the soft glow of gas lamps, a most extraordinary scene had been set. And under the cover of a light fog, the curtain had risen silently on the insoluble mystery of our invisible killer.
Huh. Seems legit, I guess. Hey, I know this place. 19th of February, 9:47 a.m., the British Supreme Court, the Lord Chief Justice's office, which is in the middle of a clock tower for some reason. You know, other than the fact he likes time. Did you sleep last night, Mr. Naruhodo? No, not at all. We're fucking homeless, man. What do you think? Oh. Oh, so we got a hotel in the room. That's nice. It was an enormous hotel, wasn't it? The rooms are so luxurious. I felt like we were staying in a palace. Oh, I'm glad we got that sorted out. And with all the gas lights twinkling, it was brighter than day, even in the middle of the night. What about the enormous beds? After my time on the SSPRA, I wasn't going to waste a single inch of that space. Oh yeah, man. Queen-size beds are pretty dope. I spent the entire night rolling from one side of the mattress to the other. Well, I can relate to that. You know, a nice big mattress is always a comfort. Especially after having to sleep in a fucking wardrobe. Also, like, when he was in the wardrobe, was he, like, sleeping standing up? Was he, like, curled up in a ball sleeping? Like, that could not have been comfortable. At all. Oh, yes! It really was the sort of night you can only dream of normally. Except, when I learned that we owed £3 for the rooms, that dream quickly turned into a nightmare. What, you just... Oh. So you didn't think that the rooms were going to cost anything? Oops. Sorry about that. I just thought they were giving away free rooms for good lawyers. Oh. The building was so impressive, and the entrance so inviting, I just wandered in without thinking. In a lodging house in Japan, that sum of money would put a roof over your head for a whole year. Wait. I'm sorry. Wait. Wrong history. £3? It's a lodging, it's a room over your head for a whole year. I mean, is £3 really that much? Like, I don't, that's, maybe pounds are more than I thought they were. Oh, I wonder if she does that face. I can't help but be sad. Like, come on, says Otto. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't help my tears when we were presented with the bill. I really am sorry. Again, well, what about the coins that McGilda threw at us? Surely that could have paid for something. Well, never mind. We must find some more affordable lodging straight away, though. If we're not careful, Our entire stipend will be used up in 10 days or less. Oh, okay, so we had a stipend. I guess that makes sense. Ugh. London is a scary place. I'm gonna take a guess as to who that is. Ah, good morning to you at this early hour. Yeah, that's what I figured. Hello, Lord Chief Justice, God, Emperor, King, Man, Strongheart, Bro. Oh, yes, we did what you asked, you know. Good morning to you, Lord Chief Justice. We have come to report on the outcome of the trial at the Old Bailey yesterday. We fucked shit up, in a good way. And shit also got fucked up in a not so good way. But, you know, take the good with the bad, right? And, we got that W, though, am I right? Susanoo-san is amazing. She doesn't bat an eyelid, even in the presence of the imposing Lord Strongheart. Yes, I believe you had a very comprehensive initiation into British courtroom practices. Oh, yes, it was very eye-opening, thank you. And, in accordance with your instructions, Lord Strongheart, Mr. Naruhodo performed his duty to the end. Yes, I've already been apprised of events. You conducted a remarkable defense. You may consider the test passed. Well, hey, that's good. We did the thing. Basically, like, gods, you know? I mean, yeah, we're like basically lawyer gods, you know? You can just bow before us. Oh! No longer are you a student from the Empire of Japan. You may henceforth claim to be a fully fledged lawyer. My country is delighted to welcome young talent from such a remote eastern land. Thank you very much. So, I'm a lawyer now, not even a student. I'm basically a god tier dude. Now, in view of your new appointment, I have a fresh new case in mind for you. I'd like you to take it on at once. I trust that won't be a problem. Another case? Already? Nothing trains a lawyer better than practical experience. I'm sure I don't sense dissatisfaction, do I? Not at all. I mean, I love cases. Just fucking throw them at me, man. One after the other. I'm going to meet them up. Fuck them up. It's just that yesterday's trial ended unusually. I haven't quite come to terms with it. What's to come to terms with? The man was cleared. What more were you hoping for? I mean, he's got a point. We did our job. Yes, culpability of the defendant. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment, which makes you wonder why they were here in the first place. My boy McGilded was quite happy with our defense. Yeah, see, he's laughing. He's so happy that we defended him that he can't help but just break out into fits of laughter, you know? I just can't help wondering if Mr. McGilded really was innocent. Mr. Naruhodo! It's just that I never managed to ascertain the truth. And then the trial ended. Well, you needn't let it trouble you for a second longer. Sorry? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? Oh. Huh. Well, I guess my, what do you call it? My, inference of who was in the omnibus at the end of in the ending cutscene of the last trial was correct. So much for our boy, McGilded. Magnus McGilded passed away immediately following the trial. No! Oh, Nani? Mr. McGilded is dead? You know it. Dude, he's never gonna do the cool JoJo pose again. Or throw us at a coin. Or throw a coin at us. Or, yeah. I have 19 minutes and 41 seconds until my next engagement. Time enough to talk. Oh, okay. I guess we're chatting. Hey, check this armband out, my dude. Lord Strongheart, may I show you this? To accept this item, issue a receipt, examine it thoroughly, and make a formal statement of my findings. Would require something in the region of 24 seconds of my time. Sorry. Does the item warrant 24 seconds of my time, Mr. Naruhodo? Let's leave it for now. Okay, I know. I knew that wasn't gonna get me anywhere, but I gotta do it for the meme. I wonder if there's anything new in the examination department. Or have we already seen this before? Ah, fuck. Yeah, no, okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to see if there's any funny dialogue. You know, funny between the two funny men and funny girl. We've seen this before. Come on. Yeah, you and your one book that has all the knowledge of the world in it. I mean, I know encyclopedias are a thing, but come on. Anyway, McGilded's death. Tell me about it. I don't understand. What happened? How can he be dead? What? After the trial concluded yesterday, there was a great commotion in the Old Bailey. As you'll presumably recall, an omnibus had been wheeled into the courtroom. Yeah, I remember that omnibus. It was a pretty fucking important. It wouldn't shut up about fucking omnibuses. Yes, of course. That was the scene of the crime which Mr. McGilded had been accused of. Precisely. Well, while the bailiff's attention was diverted by some other matter, the omnibus went up in flames. What the fuck was the bailiff looking at? Holy shit. Bro, like, that's what I was wondering. Like, how did that even happen? Like, were the prosecution and the judge just out getting Starbucks and they fucking come in and dude's banging for his life? No. How could such a thing have happened? I wonder. That is being investigated as we speak. But already, the police have identified a corpse found inside the charred cell of the carriage as that of McGilded. That's awful. Honestly, yeah, it is kind of awful. Like, say what you will about McGilded, I know he was a little bit, maybe a little corrupt, but like, dying in a fire is a pretty horrific way to go. So, yeah, it kind of sucks for him. I'm sorry, McGilded. The man must have slipped inside while the... Wait, why was he inside? That's a good question, though. Why was McGilded in the cart, in the carriage, in the omnibus again? Well, don't know what that's about. The man must have slipped inside whilst the bailiff's attention was elsewhere. That bailiff really needs to pay more attention. Honestly, what, that fucking Mike Meekins as bailiff? Is that Meekins' ancestor? And how could that have happened? Like, yeah, I think he's a free man. Yeah, well, he was a free man at that point, so it's not like they could have monitored him super closely, but still. That is also being investigated as we speak. Thinking back now, immediately after the trial, Mr. McGilded did mention going back into the courtroom to look at the omnibus. Okay, well, I know I'm never gonna get to voice the funny Irish man again, so I might as well take advantage of this moment. Well, I must be making tracks now. Just time for the inspection. Sorry, what inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. Godspeed, McGilded, my good man. An inspection of the omnibus? Not to my knowledge. I don't believe Scotland Yard had any intention of re-examining the carriage. But then who is Mr. McGilded talking about? Never mind that now. The Yard is making a thorough investigation. This matter is no longer any concern of yours. Leave it to the police. My favorite band. Poor Mr. McGilded. Well, that's curious. Why the fuck was if they weren't if they weren't gonna be re-examining the cart again, then what was he talking about? Also, I don't like that animation. Like he looks like he's about to fucking bust my kneecaps with that cane of his. And so, how did you find your first taste of our country's Supreme Court? Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it was tasty as fuck. Holy shit. Wow. Mr. Naruhodo means that the whole experience was steeped in the solemnity of Great Britain's long history. It's really a world apart from our own judicial system in Japan, which is only a few short decades old. Yeah, man, Susato with the save. Wow, Susato's had such a way with words. Honestly, yeah. Like, she's definitely more elegantly composed than we are. And you seem to have a way of failing to find the right ones. True, that's like a recurring trend of his. The judicial system here is the most advanced in the world. Learn all you can. The most advanced in the world, is it? It was fortunate that your very first trial was a simple affair. Yeah, it was relatively brisk in the end of it all. Simple? That was simple? Again, yeah, it went by pretty quick, honestly. Like the basic facts were, like, it was more so the stuff around it that was not so simple. As I believe I mentioned yesterday morning, it was a trial you couldn't lose. I don't mean to be contrary, Lord Strongheart, but the case was anything but simple. Again, there was stuff going on around it that was more complicated, but the basic facts were pretty basic. Compared to some other shit we've seen. The circumstances of the case were so incriminating, I was stunned when I first heard them. In fact, I'm still finding it hard to believe that we managed to get a favorable verdict. Is something funny? No, my apologies. However, the fact is that you did receive the not guilty verdict you set out to achieve. True, and that can only be attributed to exceptional talent. Wouldn't you agree? Well, I don't know about that. Well, never mind. You exceeded my expectations, I freely admit. That much, at least, is an undeniable truth. Which is precisely why I prepared the new case for you that I mentioned before. What's going on? What was he going to say before? Before what? His compliment about us being cool? Oh well. Could you perhaps give us some more details about the new case you mentioned, and hopefully not be like, hey, it's starting in 30 minutes. Go figure it out. Don't tell me it's a murder and the trial starts in 10 minutes. Yeah, fuck yeah, Reach. See, me and Ryunosuke, man, we're on the same wavelength. Like, most of the time. Don't worry. It's nothing so alarming or quite so urgent as your last assignment. In fact, this case is completely different. Oh, I see. Did he just read my mind? That is to say, no one has died as yet. and the trial will not be today. There's plenty of time to research the case thoroughly. 23 hours, 43 minutes, and 19 seconds to be precise. So the trial's tomorrow, then. Care to fill us in about anything else? Is everything alright? Oh, yes. I'm just a little confused, that's all. Yesterday's trial was, well, it's left me wondering if I'm really cut out for being a lawyer. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. I don't know if I could face standing in that courtroom again after Mr. McGilda's trial. Ah, yes. I nearly forgot. There is one similarity with yesterday's case. Once again, there is currently no one to advocate for the defense. Oh, if the situation remains unchanged, the trial will start tomorrow with the defendant unrepresented. And if that happens, I need not remind you of the inevitable outcome. The most terrible end awaits the defendant. Well, if no one's died, can you really say capital punishment's on the table? Yes, that's right. Ugh, here we go again. Well, that was cool. Nice chatting with you, Mr. Strongheart. Your time is up. You will have to excuse me. I would advise you to begin making preparations for tomorrow's trial. But seriously, you're not going to tell me, like, the name of my defendant? The victim? Anything? Where it happened? After all, the clock is ever ticking. There is now but 23 hours, 26 minutes, and 39 seconds until the court sits. Last time you mentioned the 23 hours, you said there was plenty of time. One more thing, Mr. Naruhodo. There is something I should like to ask you. Oh, what's that? Yesterday, you remarked upon something. That you would tend to see through the will of your late compatriot, Mr. Asogi. Sorry. I would be interested to hear what exactly you mean by that. Inside 34 seconds. Well, Kazuma always used to say, you see, that he wanted to learn how the greatest justice system in the world worked, so he could change ours in Japan. Now that he's gone, I'd like to work towards that myself. And, there's another thing. Oh. Another thing. Continue. On the way here, on the steamship, he said something to me. There's something very important that I have to do. Something very important. And what exactly would that be? He, never had a chance to tell me. I suppose he would have done, if he ever made it to Great Britain. Oh, okay, well. You're out of time. Well, thank you for an enlightening discussion. Mr. Naruhodo, what's all this about? Mr. Asogi never once mentioned anything of the sort to me. I urge you both to focus your attentions on the matter at hand. Oh, hello. I've taken the liberty of summoning the police inspector in charge of the case. He'll be able to apprise you of the details. How long has he been there? So, I wish you the best of luck, and bid you farewell. There's something very important that I have to do. Kazuma-sama, what did you mean? I wish I knew, but honestly, he never told me. Anyway, we'd better talk to the detective, don't you think? Yes, you're right. Okay. I hope I'm just imagining it, but, I wouldn't say he looks, pleased to see us at all. Hello. Nice, potatoes you got there, pal. Wrapped up in newspaper? Alright. Oh, so you got a long face with a little neck that leans into your neck. Anyway, could we trouble you? What do you think? Ag? Lovely weather, isn't it? What's the weather got to do with anything? Hey! Listen to me, you young... Listen to me, you young Japanese upstart. Some frippery about the weather doesn't get every English gent eaten out of your hand, you know? But Susato-san told me it was foolproof. Jesus Christ, dude. You're going ham on those fucking, what is that, fish and chips, I guess? Are you This keep popping up, too. Okay. I'm a busy man. A very busy man. There's a crime scene to investigate, but I'm here having to give the likes that you were talking to. Oh, I'm ever so sorry. Can you imagine what the other officers there will be saying? Haven't seen Gregson anywhere, have you? No, he's too busy with the bigwigs these days. And all because of some bumpkin who's here on a jaunt from a country I've never even heard of. Hear that ripping sound? That's my reputation at the yard going to tatters. No need to rip us apart as well. I don't believe we've been introduced. This is Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a defense lawyer. Eh? It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. I'm sus. Eh? It's lovely weather we're having today, isn't it? It is unseasonably fine, I grant you. London winters don't see a lot of sunshine. Unbelievable! How'd she pull that off? Bro, so when she talks about the weather, people want to fucking, have a chin wag, but when I try to be talking about the weather, no one wants to talk to old Ryunosuke? They just want to talk to Susato? Ugh. So, Lord Strongheart has asked me to fill you in on the case. The name's Tobias Gregson. Inspector Gregson to you. I'm from Scotland Yard. Gregson? Inspector Gregson? What's the matter with Susato-san? Does this detective's name mean something to her? Alright, Inspector Gregson, what do you got to say? Inspector? Are you perhaps the Inspector Gregson of Gregson and Sons? The favorite folk rock band? You're acting like you know this man, Miss Susato. But he's a London detective. Oh, I do know him. Very well, in fact. Very well. Yes, he features prominently in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Oh, in that publication. What's it called again? Ranst Magazine? That's right. Inspector Gregson and Mr. Sholmes enjoy a wonderful friendly rivalry. Really? Really? You rival the great Mr. Sholmes? That's incredible. Oh, well, I don't know about that. Mr. Sholmes isn't a professional like myself, of course. But he does come up with the goods from time to time. Mr. Sholmes is equally complimentary about you, Inspector, isn't he? You've earned his highest praise. Gregson's a pick of a bad lot of all the Scotland Yarders. Those were his own words. That's his highest praise? Well, Mr. Sholmes isn't particularly known for giving compliments, you see. That he is not. And thanks to that magazine, my name's known all over London town now. That's great, isn't it? I have to admit, to start with, I was a little, well, flattered by all the attention. Everyone wanted to shake my hand, and my reputation at the yard went through the roof. Well, that's wonderful. No, it is not. There's nothing more sinister than the man on the street. People are always looking at me now. They're whispering rumors about me under their breath, I'm sure. Rumors? Are you quite sure? He's changed since he started appearing in those stories. The fame's gone to his head. Stuff like that. Gosh, do you really think people are saying such mean-spirited things about you? Is this Twitter.com in the 1800s? Yeah. Like I said, they whisper, so I can't catch exactly what they're saying. But I know what folks are like. I'm sure that's what they're saying. As sure as eggs is eggs. Huh. I get the feeling this detective could be very hard work. Oh dear. Perhaps the sudden rise to fame does change people. Well, alright. Tell me about the case. So, about that case that the Lord Chief Justice mentioned before. Nothing to tell, really. As far as we're concerned at the Odd, it couldn't be simpler. Oh dear. That probably means that as far as we're concerned as lawyers, it couldn't be more complicated. I wish you were wrong about that, but I have a nasty feeling you're right. A young woman was walking along the pavement on Briar Road when she was stabbed from behind. Fortunately, it wasn't fatal, but she's still laid up in hospital, unconscious. That's despicable. What sort of coward would attack the poor woman from behind? I suppose you would have finished whoever it was with a motherfucking Susanoo takedown, would ya? It is neither here nor there, Mr. Naruhodo. But brace yourself, Nishinosuke. You've angered her now. Oh, fuck, man. I don't want to be token down. Anyway, after something of a whirlwind investigation, the criminal was arrested. He barely had time for a cup of tea after the incident took place, to be honest. So, there must have been something left at the scene that led you directly to the culprit. Or perhaps a reliable witness who recognized the person in question. Let me stop you right there. You wasted your time on this one. Sorry. There's nothing you can do. There's no way to help the bloke now. Well, why ever not? Simple. The prosecutor that's been assigned to the trial tomorrow is Lord Baroque Van Zykes. No! Sounds like you've heard of him then. Bro, I curb stomped his asshole just yesterday. I curb stomped him once, I can curb stomp that motherfucker again. Oh yes, we are very familiar with Lord Van Zykes. Believed to be the harbinger of death itself. The Reaper of the Bailey. He could reap this dick. Am I right? Anyway. Let's talk. Tell me about him some more, I guess. Lord Baroque Van Zykes, who he faced in court only yesterday. Mr. McGilded told us about him before the trial, didn't he? When Van Zykes stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. This Reaper of the Bailey nickname, I suppose he's earned that because every defendant he advocates against is found guilty. Is that it? Don't look at me like that, jeez. Well, if that's the case, we should inform you, Inspector, that in yesterday's trial against Lord Van Zykes, Mr. Naruhodo secured a verdict of not guilty. Yeah, we fucking Ryunosuke took down that motherfucker. Am I right, Susanoo? High five. And what of it? Oh, well, you know, I think that means that even against the Reaper of the Bailey, it's not impossible to save the defendant. I mean, you're not wrong, but also, I'm pretty sure McGilded kind of got iced regardless. No, you really don't have a clue, do ya? What do you mean? What happened to that bloke in the end, eh? He's dead. Ah! Magnus McGilded came a cropper in that omnibus when it went up in flames. So you can't rightly say you saved the defendant, can you? What are you saying? Look, if Lord Van Zykes could get the dirt to stick on everyone, he'd be a miracle worker. But that's not how it goes. He doesn't work miracles. He works magic. Black magic. I'd have a good long think about that if I were you. Are we really supposed to believe that? Nom. Nom. Potatoes and chip and fish. Right, well, I filled you in as requested, and I'm very nearly out of chips. So I'll be heading back to the crime scene now. We're still carrying out a few investigations there. It was Briar Road, you said, didn't you? Where the incident took place. That's correct, ma'am. And if you head over to the holding cells, you can meet the criminal himself. You branded him a criminal already. He's as good as. Shaking like a leaf in a cell, he is. It'll give you a chuckle, if nothing else. That's a bit weird. He's inmate 53. Speak to the jailer and, he's inmate 53. Speak to the jailer and he'll show you the way. Inmate 53. Thanks. Well, okay. So there's no helping anyone against the Reaper of the Bailey, they say. Is something troubling you, Mr. Naruhodo? To tell the truth, when I recall the trial yesterday, I can't stop myself from shaking. The idea of facing the Reaper in court again is... Bro, he wasn't even that hard. Maybe for you guys, but, like, I fought Edgeworth, I fought Godot, I fought Blackquill, I fought, Francisca, you know. Comparatively, he was pretty tame. He just kind of hurled racial slurs at us. Well, if you think it's too much for you, there's no shame in turning the case down. That takes courage too, you know. Come on. But if the man they've arrested is innocent, you can well imagine he would be shaking like a leaf in his cell. And I, for one, wouldn't find the sight of that funny. So, if I'm honest, I'm still reeling from the shock of yesterday's events myself. And I'm really not sure if I'll be able to help this man, whoever he is. But I'd like to try. So, I think I'm going to make some inquiries. Will you help? Did you really think you had to ask? Oh, yeah, I know you got my back, says Otto. After all, I am your judicial assistant. Thank you. So then, shall we? Yeah! Let's go! Let's fuck shit up! No. Okay, I guess we'll go to the prison first. You know, it's always nice to meet your client before you do anything else, you know? 19th of February. Local prison, cell 9. So these are British prison cells. It's like being locked in a fucking dungeon. Jeez Louise, pal. Oh, they're ghastly. It feels just like a dungeon. Damn, Zazada. Man, I swear, like, I'm not trying to, like, fucking predict what they're gonna say before I say it. Like, sometimes it's just kind of there, you know? Yes, and having experienced it in Japan myself, I can assure you that our wooden cells feel a lot cozier than these cold stone walls. Oh, don't, Mr. Naruhodo. You're making it seem worse. I'm sorry. Apparently, our client is in this cell here. But it's so dark in the back there, I can't make him out. I wonder what he's like. Inmate 53, your legal representative is here to see you. Stop hiding at the back of the cell and show your face at once. Am I a cat? As yet with no name? Calling me by a number. It's utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable. I refuse to answer. Mr. Naruhodo, what? What do you think is going on here? I don't fucking know. But I wasn't just hearing things, was I? That tirade of complaints was in Japanese. Oh, so it is a Japanese... Well, yeah, I've seen this guy. Well... Excuse me, but... Shh! Quiet! What the fuck are you doing, my dude? They're all around, hiding. I know they are. They're watching, listening. Even now, I can sense it. You good, man? Are you okay? Right. So, could it... There you are. You've come to curse me, haven't you? Don't try to hide it. You're a ghost. A ghost? Ghost. We mean you no harm, prisoner-san. Are you... Japanese, by any chance? Oh, okay. This is... beyond my wildest dreams! Jeez, man, it's not that serious. Forgive me for that outburst before. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's, fine. We were just a little surprised, that's all. Imagine it! It's been 12 long months since I left my hometown, and here I am, in a frightful fix in a foreign land. So hearing the sweet sentimental tones of a compatriot's voice here in this damp, dark hellhole was a most monumentally moving moment. Are you okay? Are you all right, my guy? Are you okay? I swear, every like new character I meet, I'm just kind of baffled. You know? Who could have guessed that this new client Lord Strongheart assigned to us would turn out to be a fellow Japanese? What compassion my fellow countrymen show to dispatch a first-class lawyer all the way from Japan to defend a mere foreign student. Noble, nurturing, never failing, Nippon. A first-class lawyer? Are you sure about that? Oh dear. I think there's been something of a misunderstanding here. I wonder, would you be so kind as to tell us what's happened? Why you've been detained as a suspect, for example? Yes, I can! I will! Stay sullen and silent! It's like the YMCA up in here, man. I'm not quite sure I understand what he means, but, he seems happy. Yeah, he does. I just hope he actually has a good reason to be. Thank you for your cooperation. I am a lawyer, as you said. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. And I am Naruhodo-san's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotaba. I am a visiting student, sent here by our government. Notoriously named Natsume. Soseki Natsume. Oh. Okay, well, nice to meet you, Mr. Natsume. Do I check out this armband? Yes! Yes! The symbol of one of our great empire's first-rate lawyers. Which means, of course, you'll stand by my side. You'll defend me. Oh, no, sorry. That wasn't why I was showing it to you. Then why else would you show me that? Oops. In hindsight, that probably wasn't the best idea. Well, hey, let's gab. You know, let's confab. You know. Soseki Natsume-san. What an unusual name. Call me Soseki, please. I'm a poet, you see, a writer of haiku. It's something of a nom de plume. A nom de plume? You mean an alias? That's right, Naruhodo-san. No! Don't be so prosaic. It's much more refined than that. And haiku, that really reminds me of home. Did I hear you say that you were a visiting student, sent over here by the government? Yes, that's right. A year ago, I was told to go and study English. First, I had to suffer that misery, and now this. It's beyond the pale. Suffer that misery? Did you not want to study here? No, I mean, I've had an interest in Great Britain for some years, of course. Oh, but just because the government tells you to do something Does it mean you can do it? No. What do you mean? If they told me to study English literature, that I could have understood. That's my field. But no, they told me to study the English language. Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable. I see. Only the other day, I was told to send a report about my first year here. I tendered a blank piece of paper. Wise words on white washi. You must be a man of great standing. Oh, yes. So I'm often told. And often like to be told, it seems. The accusation against you, huh? Could you perhaps tell us exactly why you've been arrested, Soseki-san? I didn't do it! I didn't commit that atrocious murder! Okay, don't make a weird face like that. Murder? Oh, no. It's all alright. The woman didn't actually die, did she? But she was stabbed with a knife! Right before my eyes! Before your eyes? You mean you saw the attacker? I didn't see anyone. What? If I'd seen the person who did it, do you think I'd be locked up in here? Oh dear. It seems this case is becoming rather complicated. Why me? Why me? Why does that silly woman have to be stabbed in front of me? It's a curse! The curse of London. It's incredibly, inexcusably, irritatingly inconvenient. Geez, is every one of those posing little animation things he does unique? Is he okay? I don't know, man. He's a bit of an odd fellow. That Soseki. So Soseki-san was there at the scene, but he didn't see the attacker. It's vital that we find out more about the case. Oh, yeah, that it is, for certain. Well, can you tell us what you did see, or anything, really? It was an accursed evening, just after the snow had started to clear and heavy with fog. I'd been to the bookshop to buy some books, and I was on my way back to my accursed lodgings. Sure the bookshop wasn't accursed too? As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman, wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her... Bam! Oh, jeez. Stabbed. She suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed into the cold hard slabs of stone at my feet. God, she's like a... egg-shaped. Egg. Oh, calm down. How terrible. I called out to the woman, but she didn't move. It was like a ghostly, ghoulish, grim graveyard. Slight exaggeration there, perhaps. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran. I made like the flock of seagulls song, and ran. I ran so far away. I ran all night and day, as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings. Hey, that's, not good. They'll say it was shameful, I know, to run away like that. Tell me, Soseki-san, was the victim an acquaintance of yours? Don't be ridiculous! Do you think I know any of these fair-haired English? And a young woman at that. I'm diffident, shy, timid, unsure. I can't talk to people. Oh, same, am I right, guys? Totally relatable mood. I see. A young woman, unknown to Soseki-san. As at the time it happened, who else did you see nearby? Did anybody pass you? Regrettably, apart from myself and the woman, I didn't see a soul. No one? Oh, great. So the victim was unknown to you, and there was nobody else on the street at the time. That creates something of a conundrum, doesn't it? What conundrum? I can kind of guess. If no one else saw you, and it was just you, if you didn't see anyone else, and it was just you and the lady, then, I guess. Well, then again, how would they know that? How would they have seen you? You know? Good question. What do you mean, Susato-san? What's the conundrum? Well, if what Soseki-san has just told us is true, there's something I can't explain. He says that he didn't know the victim, and that there was no one else at the scene. Then he apparently fled, without having been seen. I did. But if that's the case, surely this man has to be the culprit. Ah! You... What did you just say? Nothing! I didn't say anything. Literally, it was in my head. Oops. Perhaps I thought that a little loudly. So what, he can read my mind? Actually, that's not what was troubling me. What I was thinking was, how did Sasaki-san actually come to be arrested? Yeah, that's the other point of it too, yeah. If no one saw him, and he didn't see anyone, and it was just him and the victim, how did he come to be arrested? He didn't touch the victim, and there was nobody there at the scene to see him. So how did the police ever discover that he was there in the first place? Oh yes, you're right. It was him, that accursed great detective. He led the police to me. Of all the bad luck. Accursed great detective? Could it be... I shall never forget that man's name as long as I live, with his haughty laugh and his self-proclaimed greatness. Brash, big-headed, busybody, begone! May you be cursed until the end of your days, Herr Lock Sholmes. Yeah, I mean, this... That laugh, you can't forget that laugh. I knew it. Mr. Sholmes? Yeah, what about Hairlock Sholmes? Well, I didn't expect to hear that name from this man's lips, that's for sure. It was a morning after that nightmare had unfolded on the pavement before me. I was gnawing on a sliver of hard cheese when some men suddenly burst in through the door. They started shouting at me. This is the police! Put the weapon down! Yes, it was a thin sliver, and yes, it was hard, but I wasn't eating a weapon! Disgusting, dietary discrimination devils! You clearly had a trying morning yesterday. And there he was, in the middle of all the policemen, grinning like a Cheshire cat. That Hairlock Sholmes. It's actually just Herlock Sholmes. He's English. I've since found out that he's a famous name in detection here in London. Yes, the great detective is really very well known. And his overly sharp mind managed to deduce my whereabouts, apparently. He thinks I'm the knife-wielding madman. Me, this weak, stupid kitten of a man. I wonder what great deduction process led him to his conclusion this time. Do you mean to say that Mr. Sholmes' deduction was the only reason the police arrested you? That would be really most unreasonable. Well, the thing is, I was thrown into a panic when they barged their way in. Of course you were. That's only natural. I was terrified and trembling, and they kept throwing question after question at me in impossible English. Fiendish, foreign, flim-flammery. Well, we are in England. You can't really blame them for questioning you in English. Good point. But my mind went blank. I knew I had to answer, but I didn't know what to say. So I just kept repeating things like, yes, I do, and I'm fine. The next thing I knew, I was in manacles. And before I knew it, I was thrown in here. Oh dear. I'm afraid that's hardly surprising. I'm fine. He's not fine now. Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Oh, you can just call me Naruhodo. And when we're speaking English, simple Mister is more than enough. Oh, yes, all right. Well, yes, they've really got to me. This country is poisoning my mind. But please, I beg you to defend me in court tomorrow. You can tell them what really happened. You'll do it, won't you? Well, Why? Why? Why is it so hard to say yes to me? Well, the thing is, I'm just a student like yourself, on a study tour. A student? I have defended a case in the Old Bailey. Only the one, though. But at this moment in time, I really don't know what I'm supposed to believe in. I'm confused about what justice in this country even means. Oh, Naruhodo-san. I'm not even the foreign student who was supposed to be here. I'm a sort of locum lawyer, I suppose. But an armband! That's the mark of a defense lawyer from our great empire. It's a keepsake for the man who should have been here. He was my best friend. A keepsake? I know exactly what they're saying about me. Oh, who do you mean? The lawyers. All the British defense lawyers. They won't defend me. Goodness. Why do you say that? For the same reason as you noted before. When it happened, there was only the victim and myself around, and I ran away from the scene of the crime. I'm not a fool. I know it looks as though I must be the culprit. It must be very hard for you, Soseki-san. And anyway, I'm a student from overseas. I'm just a foreign nobody to them. Someone not to be trusted. I heard them openly laughing about me before, in my earshot, without any compunction at all. Any trial for this man would be a waste of time, they said. And, of course, a foreigner did it. They even had the gall to say, the man doesn't understand half of what's being said anyway. That's awful. They're wrong. I've studied more English than half of the policemen out there on the streets. I've traveled halfway around the world to learn about these people's country and its great history. But no one here wants to listen to a man with a strange accent. They all hate me. So, at the very least, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who can listen to me, in my native tongue. You could do it, couldn't you? When I look into your eyes, I can see it. I can see what you've been through. Soseki-san, it's just... Give me a little time, please. I'll do what I can, for the time being. What do you mean? We shall investigate the case as thoroughly as possible. If we can find some clues, it will give us a much better chance, I'm sure. Oh, yes. Yes, thank you. I'll be here, all alone, waiting for you, locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. We should be going then, Mr. Naruhodo-san. We have a case to prepare for. Well, that was a lot to take in. You're quite the character, aren't you, pal? Also, this episode's almost at the point where it's running long, so gotta wrap things up here, but so far, so good. Can't wait to actually figure out more details about what actually happened, but yeah. Until then, though,